Hey guys, welcome back to Johnny's Doing What. Today I've had quite the morning, but before I get into detail with this morning, I do have to um, tell you about an incident that happened to me in the year of 2018. And this is regarding one of the worst accidents I have ever faced in my whole entire life, one of the worst ones. And this happened on the 60 California Interstate. And I was coming home with a friend of mine. So I had my two-door convertible with my fiance, and he had his own car, which of course he was driving his baby mama and their newborn child as well, and his brother-in-law. We were both headed home from his brother's newborn party as well. So we were driving, and they had just missed the exit to the freeway, but we hadn't. We were driving right behind them. So we got onto the carpool, and we see a car zooming past by us. And, I disregarded it. I was like, wow, like they must be in a hurry or something like that. And little did I know, bang. I hit that vehicle. That vehicle had spun out. That vehicle had spun out to the point where it landed nose nose into the carpool lane, and I had hit it right where the fender meets the door. So I lost my driver's license that night. The reason being is that they had said that I had purposely T-boned the vehicle after it spun out on the freeway, and it was really, really ridiculous. Um, it leads to a court date. In the court, they reveal that witnesses that were there had seen the vehicle driving way over 90 miles an hour on the freeway, swerving, and they almost, her, okay, it was a girl who was driving. Her own friends took her to court. Her own friends took her to court. The passenger, it was three other passengers. They all took her to court. And when the court date arrives, they reveal she was swerving, going over 90 miles the hour, under the influence of drugs, marijuana, alcohol, as well as a consumable pill, which was an e-pill at the moment. So mixing all of that must have, of course, destroyed her ability to drive. And it really sucked because I will never forget that night. It was truly ridiculous. Um, I saw everything in slow motion as I hit that car, and I knew I was gonna hit it. Literally, like, honestly, in that glimpse of that second before I hit it, I saw everything move slow. Time had retarded, and the first person I had looked to was my fiance. And I looked at her, and I knew I was gonna hit. And all of this happened in an instant, in a second. I was able to glance over at her. I looked at her, and we hit. And airbag, the airbags deployed. Um, the car was totaled, completely totaled, beyond repair. And their vehicle, I had barely just hit on the tip. The reason why is because before when I saw that car had spun out right in front of me, um, it was a stick shift car, so I dropped it in neutral, grabbed the e-brake, and I tried to swerve out of the way, but of course there's a wall right there. So I hit, I had hit the car, hit the actual wall, the center divider of the freeway, um, and I ended up spinning out so hard The impact was so hard that the convertible top came off. That's how hard I had hit that car. And and it sucked. It truly sucked. I but the but I don't know what got into me. It must have been the adrenaline shot that rushed into my body. But the instant the car stopped moving, I put on the e-lights on the car. At least the back one still worked. I got out of the car. My fiance is just sitting in the seat, and I'm like, get out, get out, get out, get out. I was telling her to get out, and she could not move. She could not move. And then she snapped out of it. She had snapped out of it, and I had told her to get out of the car. I opened the door, and I got her out. And I was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" She was confused. It was such an impact. She was confused. She didn't know what was going on. And then what hurt the most is I actually saw her bleeding. She started bleeding from the impact on the airbag. And then they're checking on the other drivers. I see them. I see the other vehicle. Everyone's getting out, and instantly, the sheriffs had gotten there. Instantly, someone had called them, most likely reporting the vehicle that I had just hit due to the fact they were going 90 and swerving, very crazy. And I had called my friend. I'm like, dude, where are you? And he's just like, oh, we're about to hop onto the freeway. I'm like, I just got into an accident. And he told me, you're kidding, really? I'm like, yes, I just got into an accident. And then he told me, okay, I'm on my way. He passed by us. He stopped. He told us how we were doing. I'm like, I'm okay. We just got to get my fiance, to feel better. She was confused at the moment. She was crying. Pretty. I mean, it was a savage hit. Like, I'm pretty sure, like myself, I'd be crying. And I was just in shock. And honestly, the adrenaline just made me mad. I was just mad. The sheriffs came by. I gave them my driver's license. I told them what I had seen. And then there was another witness who came. It's like, yep, I saw the exact same thing. Driver was swerving, spun out. They were about to hit another car. So, because in order to avoid hitting that car, they had turned, and then that's when they spun out, and I had hit them. Um, so the sheriff tows both cars away. They don't let me speak to any of the individuals from the other party, and I get dropped off at a gas station, by the sheriffs. I get dropped off at the gas station, and my buddy, I told my friend, hey, you know what? Go ahead and take my fiance. I'll let you guys know. At this moment in time, I had called my sister, let her know what was going on. I had called another friend, two other friends of mine, letting them know what was going on. My sister rushed over there with my brother at the moment, and they were comforting my fiance. And then little did you know, on the other side, the sheriffs had dropped off the other party. So this is where things get really heated. One of the individuals comes out and he's just like, were you guys the ones who hit us? And everyone goes berserk. Everyone goes berserk, especially my fiance. My fiance was so mad. She was like, how in the hell are you saying we hit you? We hit you, and everything just blows up. Everything blows up. And then you can tell he was under the influence of something that retarded his total reaction and the way he was thinking, because he was just like moving side to side. His mother comes in a brand new 2018 Mercedes-Benz white, and it's an S class. I'm like, No, not an S class. Sorry, a C class. And I'm like, all right, things are gonna get interesting. So my friends are disputing with him. His mother's there, and she's listening to everything. She calls him. She calls him by name and says, "Don't worry about it. We'll fix it in the morning." And that's when everyone just gets even more heated. It's like saying, "Don't worry about it. Like, we got the money. We can pay it off," and everyone just gets more mad because of what his mother had said. Like, really, really, you could have killed. You could have the person the driver was a girl, right? The driver was a girl, and she could have easily killed her son, and that's her response. Her response was that we'll deal with it in the morning. Okay, you take out your son's life was in the hands of an individual going 90 miles the hour swerving, and there was two more individuals in the back. So in my head I'm like, your son wouldn't be here right now, or the other two individuals, or us for that matter. And it just got me so mad. I lost my license that night, and when the court date arrives, turns out her own friends took the driver to court. Pretty sure it was the guy's mom, since she was flaunting her money out there. But her own friends had taken her to court, and it's later revealed she was going over 90 miles the hour, swerving, almost hit one car, and then she was under. They had gotten them under the possession of marijuana, MDMA, and alcohol in the system. And of course that's gonna ridiculously alter your own reaction times and what you're doing. You're not gonna think. And honestly, I was more angered with the friends of the driver than I was with the actual driver. Them being her friends to the point where, hey, you can't drive. You literally cannot drive. Don't drive. We'll figure something out, or we'll sleep, we'll knock out inside the vehicle, and then we'll take off when everyone's good, or whoever's the first one, that sobers up can drive. But no, they didn't. I was more angered at her friends that let her drive in this state versus her, that she had spun out and I had hit. And it was out of three friends, none of them could have told her, hey, don't drive. We're not driving. Let's call someone else to drive us, or let's stay the night in the car. Let's sleep it off, and then in the morning we'll continue. None of them did that, which was, after the court said they had sentenced her, and I came home still without a license, and without my car being paid back. So there was that. It was a pretty lame morning that day. Anywho, recently this year, no, sorry, my bad, we're in 2020. Recently, last year, in the month of October, I got pulled over. Well, my driver's license was taken away with a 1-year suspension, and in October of 2019, they had pulled me over, and I had just bought a two-door Mercedes, and they pull me over. Sheriffs pull me over, and I just bought it, so the paperwork, of course, is under another individual's name. So, officer pulls me over and he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "Nope." And he said, "Well, you have license and registration?" I'm like, "Yeah, here's my license, registration, and insurance under a different individual's name." So he checks everything. First thing he says is, "You know your license is suspended, right?" And I told him, "No, it just became unsuspended in September." And then he goes back, checks, comes back. He's just like, "No, it's still suspended." I'm like, "How can that be? I'm under a 1 year suspension, and I just got a letter telling, explaining about my reinstatement." And then he's like, "Yeah, did you do everything at the DMB?" I'm like, "The DMB?" So he tells me, "Yeah, when you get after your 1 year suspension, you go get an SR22 and you go to the DMB and you file it in. The DMB then decides whether you have a 2 year or 4 year SR22." So I told the officer, "No, I didn't know that. From what they had told me in the DMB when I went was, okay, you have 1 year suspension. Just don't drive. Just don't. You can't operate any vehicle. If you get pulled over, it's doubled to the point where you get points on your license." So he's like, "Huh? No, they were supposed to tell you you fill out an SR22 and then you go to the DMB and then they reinstate your license under that SR22." So next thing he pulls out, he tells me, "The reason I pulled you over is because you have a stolen vehicle registration." I'm like, "What?" So he tells me, "Yes, this vehicle has been reported stolen." And I stop and think to myself, "You're kidding. I just bought a stolen vehicle." First thing that goes through my head is, I wonder where this is going. So I had told the officer, "There's no way. I just bought this vehicle. I bought it on OfferUp. I can show you the messages on my phone of where I met this person." And he told me, "The vehicle tags are up to date. I'm not going to have any problem. I can drive it." And the officer said, "The sticker that's on the license plate was included with the car?" And I told him, "Yes, I bought the car with the license plate sticker of 2020. There's no way I'm gonna steal a vehicle." And he goes back, he looks at my record, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't find anything under your system. Well, besides the accident, he did bring up the accident." I'm like, "Yeah, I have an accident, the misfortune." And he tells me to make, to kind of concrete things, he asked me, "Can you pull out the keys for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I pull out the keys, and I hand him an original Mercedes-Benz key, which he takes into his hand, and he looks, and he says, "You have the original key?" And I told him, "Yes, I bought the vehicle," and he gave me the original master key. And then the officer stops and thinks, he's just like, what is going on?" So he says, "You know what? Hang tight." So he goes he goes with his partner, and then another SUV sheriff pulls up behind him, and I'm looking through the rearview mirror, and I'm like, "Huh? Do they really need that backup, or what's going on here?" And at the same time, my good friend who was there at the time of the accident for the other one that happened on the 16th is walking past by with one of my coworkers, and he's looking at me. He's just like, "What's going on?" And I look at him. I'm like, so then he ends up. He's like, "Okay." So then the officer comes back and he tells me, "Well, uh, I'm gonna have you step out of the car we're going to impound the car, just for the reasons of the stolen registration. And I had asked him, what can I do in regards to this issue? And he had said, I would definitely obtain an attorney, because things could get ugly in court. And I told him, okay, thank you very much. In regards to my license, what do I do then? And he said, go to the DMV, fill out that SR22 as soon as possible. So it's like, okay, no problem. Thank you, officer. So he sets me up with a court date, at one of the Supreme. Is it Supreme Court? It's one of the courts, local, in my area. So he doesn't give me a ticket. He just gives me, what I got pulled over for, the citation. And right there in that little box, I see it, and I see misdemeanor, and I'm like, you couldn't have put in a fraction? No, but it was considered a misdemeanor. He had told me, it's a misdemeanor, and the reason being is because of the vehicle, and then of course I was driving theoretically without a license. So I told him, okay. He told me, it sucks that you're going through this, but I would definitely get an attorney, a lawyer, and see what happens, in court. And I told him, all right, no problem. So my friend comes, picks me up. We see the tow truck arrive and take the Benz away, which leads to December. December was my first appearance at court, and they had pushed it to January this month. So I just got out, and the total was 18,900. That was the total for this whole mess up. 18,900, or 150 days of county jail. Close to 6 months? No, away from 6 months. 5 months. 5 months in a county jail. The reason being is when you go into county jail, the daily rate is 125. So if you go into jail and you serve each day counts as 125 in monetary value. So my attorney was telling me that's what you're looking at, and I'm like, you're kidding. 18,900 or 5 months in county jail. I'm over here weighing out, what route I'm going to take, and he told me, no, like, your case is solid. We have this case won. There is no way you're gonna do jail time, and there's no way you're paying 18,900. And in the end, I'm glad. I'm really, really happy to say, is, yeah, they dismissed the charge of Grand Theft Auto, and the only charge I got was driving without a license at the time of the incident, which totaled out to be around 365, or 4 hours of community service. But while I was in that courtroom, I kid you not, I was sweating it out, and my attorney was telling me, calm down, don't worry about it. Calm down, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be okay. You got this. This is a solid case. But of course, a good friend of mine, Fidel, said, always prepare for the worst. So I kept that in mind the whole time. Always prepare for the worst. And I did. I was preparing for the worst. I was preparing for either the jail time or take out a mean loan. And yeah, they dropped the case. They dropped the GTA, the conviction of GTA. They dropped it, and I was proven innocent. And of course, no no contest to the driving without a license. But now I have, I of course fixed all that up. I got the SR22. The judge had seen that it was primarily the Volkswagen that I drive, the '69 little bug. So he's like, "What trouble can you get in a bug?" But anywho, everything's set. It was set and straight, and I got out of there relieved. I hugged my, I hugged my attorney. I was like, man. And he looked at me. He's like, dude, you could not, you didn't stop sweating, and you were red the whole time. I'm like, yes, I was preparing for the worst. And he's like, man, you just need to, you need to calm down. You need to calm your stress, man. You're too young to be stressing like this. I'm like, yeah, I know, but everything, when I was in that courtroom, everything was just playing back, like all of the events, everything that I did previous years, and it all played back, and I'm just like, freedom. That that sense of being free is just ridiculous, and I thank them a lot for that. And that's all what went down 2018, 2019 to today. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys um, take something new from this video. Primarily be careful with buying cars on OfferUp or Craigslist now, because people be shady. Not sure if they had it all planned out, because from what the sheriffs, when they had pulled me over, they had said, "Who'd you buy this from?" I'm like, "Oh, a man sold it to me." And the sheriff had told me it was registered to a woman. And I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm in for it now." So just be careful buying cars out there on OfferUp, Craigslist. Definitely verify the VINs, or meet up at the DMV so all the paperwork's done and taken care of there. Additionally, please don't drink and drive, smoke and drive, under MDMA and drive, or all three of those above, or under any substance that, of course, impairs your vision, your hearing, and of course your ability to drive. You can really do some damage, and ruin people's lives. You truly can ruin people's lives. And fortunately, mine wasn't as bad, but it could have been worse, especially being in that convertible top. We could have flipped. If we would have flipped, that's our heads. That's literally our heads. The convertible top came off. That would have, it just would have been ridiculously bad. It I wouldn't be here telling this story, honestly. And you know, hopefully, hopefully, people don't go through what I went through. But the universe has it. If I'm going through it, predominantly there's other people with the same exact thing. But yeah, this is today's morning in January. I think it's the 9th. January 9th, 2020. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.